Senior cruise warning. Don't sail in 2026 without knowing this. If you're over 60 and planning a cruise in 2026, this video could save you thousands of dollars and prevent a vacation nightmare. Cruise lines aren't required to tell you about the special rules, hidden charges, and dangerous traps that specifically target senior passengers. Today, we're exposing 11 critical warnings that every older cruiser needs to know before booking. Some will shock you, others could literally save your life. And if you want to cruise smarter and avoid these costly mistakes, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's dive in. Number 1, the pre-existing condition trap. You've been cruising for years without travel insurance, so why start now? Big mistake. Here's the truth cruise lines will never openly admit. If you have any pre-existing medical condition, diabetes, high blood pressure, even controlled heart disease, and you don't buy the right insurance at the right time, you could be left with a six-figure medical bill. Former cruise ship doctors reveal that the average cost of a medical emergency at sea runs between $7,000 and $25,000. And that's before you factor in a potential helicopter evacuation, which starts at $40,000. One physician who worked on Royal Caribbean for 5 years shared a heartbreaking story. A 68-year-old passenger with well-controlled diabetes had a diabetic episode 3 days into the cruise. The ship's medical team stabilized him, but the final bill came to $18,000. His travel insurance denied the claim because he purchased it 75 days after his initial cruise deposit. The policy required purchase within 14 days to cover pre-existing conditions. Here's the critical secret most seniors never learn. Nearly all travel insurance policies have a pre-existing condition exclusion, unless you buy within a specific window, usually 10 to 21 days of your first trip payment. Miss that deadline by even 1 day, and your high blood pressure, arthritis, or heart condition won't be covered. So what's the solution? First, buy your insurance within 14 days of making your initial cruise deposit. Not when you make your final payment, not a month before departure, within 2 weeks of that first payment. Second, read the fine print. Make sure it covers medical evacuation, trip interruption, and specifically lists coverage for pre-existing conditions. Third, consider specialized cruise insurance from providers like Allianz or Travel Guard that understand maritime medical scenarios. And here's the insider tip. If you're on Medicare, it does not cover you outside the United States. You'll need supplemental coverage. Don't let this trap turn your dream vacation into financial devastation. Number 2, the mobility accessibility lie. Cruise lines advertise their ships as accessible, showing smiling seniors enjoying every moment. But former accessibility coordinators warn that the reality doesn't always match the brochure. One coordinator who worked for Carnival admitted that while ships meet minimum ADA requirements, the actual experience for passengers with limited mobility can be surprisingly difficult. Here's what they don't tell you. Accessible cabins are often located on lower decks near crew areas, which means noise at all hours. The accessible excursions advertised might involve walking a quarter mile from the tender boat to the actual site. Wheelchair ramps on older ships can be steep enough to require assistance. And those beautiful ports you've dreamed of visiting? Many require tender boats, small vessels that transfer passengers from ship to shore, and getting into one with limited mobility can be genuinely dangerous. A 72-year-old passenger from Miami shared her experience. She booked an accessible shore excursion in Cozumel, specifically marketed for guests with mobility challenges. When she arrived at the meeting point, the tour bus had 3 steep stairs and no lift. The tour staff suggested she try her best or skip the excursion with no refund offered. So how do you protect yourself? First, call the cruise line directly. Don't rely on the website. Speak to the accessibility department and ask detailed questions about your specific ship, your specific itinerary, and your specific needs. Second, request your accessible cabin location in writing. Ask for midship and higher deck when possible to avoid crew noise. Third, and this is crucial, research every port in advance. Check if it requires a tender boat. If you use a wheelchair or walker, stick to ports with direct ship docking. And here's a secret from experienced accessible cruisers. Book your shore excursions through the cruise line, not independently. Yes, it costs more, but if the mobility accommodations aren't as promised, you have direct recourse and the ship won't leave without you. Number 3, the medication catastrophe. You've packed your pills carefully in your carry-on, ready for a relaxing 2-week cruise. Sounds responsible, right? Dangerous mistake. Former ship pharmacists reveal that running out of critical medication at sea is far more common than passengers realize, and the consequences can be severe. Here's why this is such a serious problem. Cruise ship pharmacies carry only basic medications and emergency supplies. They don't stock most prescription drugs, especially specialized heart medications, diabetes treatments, or newer prescriptions. If you run out mid-cruise, the ship's doctor can sometimes provide a short-term supply, but you'll pay premium prices, often 5 to 10 times what you'd pay at home. One passenger reported paying $400 for a 3-day supply of blood pressure medication that costs $15 at Walgreens. Even worse, some medications simply aren't available. A 71-year-old diabetic passenger on a Mediterranean cruise accidentally dropped his insulin vial, and it shattered. The ship's pharmacy had basic insulin, but not his specific prescription type. He had to adjust his entire regimen mid-cruise under the ship's doctor's supervision, costing him $600 in medical fees, plus the emergency medication. Here's the safe approach. Bring double the medication you think you'll need. If it's a 10-day cruise, pack 20 days worth. Keep half in your carry-on and half in your checked luggage in case one bag gets lost. Always keep medications in their original prescription bottles with your name clearly visible. Customs in some countries will confiscate unmarked pills. And here's a critical tip most seniors miss. Bring a written list of all your medications, including dosages and prescribing doctor's contact information. If something happens, the ship's medical team will know exactly what you're taking. One more insider secret. Before you sail, ask your doctor for a prescription to cover potential lost medication. Keep it with your travel documents. It won't help at sea, but it will save you when you reach the next port. Number 4, the single supplement scam. You're widowed or traveling solo, ready to enjoy a cruise on your own terms. Then you see the price and your jaw drops. Welcome to the single supplement penalty, a hidden charge that can nearly double your cruise cost, and it specifically targets older solo travelers. Here's the ugly truth. Cruise lines price their cabins based on double occupancy. When you travel alone, most lines charge you anywhere from 150% to 200% of the per-person rate. That $1,500 per person cruise suddenly costs you $3,000 as a solo traveler. You're paying for a ghost passenger who doesn't exist. Former cruise sales agents admit this is one of their most profitable policies. They estimate that solo travelers, many of whom are seniors, generate an extra $15 million per year in revenue for a single large cruise ship. Why do they get away with it? Because they can. Solo travel has exploded in popularity, and cruise lines know older travelers are willing to pay. But here's the secret they don't advertise. There are ways around it. First, look for cruise lines that offer true solo cabins. Norwegian Cruise Line pioneered studio staterooms specifically designed for solo travelers with no supplement. They're smaller, but you're not being penalized for traveling alone. Second, check for solo traveler promotions. During wave season, January through March, some lines slash or eliminate single supplements on select sailings. Third, consider booking a guaranteed cabin. You won't choose your exact room, but the savings on the single supplement can be worth it. And here's an insider trick from experienced solo cruisers. Join online cruise groups specifically for solo travelers. Many organize group bookings that can negotiate better rates or connect you with a compatible roommate to split a regular cabin. Wait until you hear number 5. This one involves a policy change in 2026 that could leave you stranded before you even board. Number 5, the new passport validity rule. You've got your passport, it's valid until August 2026, and your cruise is in June. You're all set, right? Think again. A new international maritime regulation taking effect in early 2026 requires passports to be valid for at least 6 months beyond your travel dates, and cruise lines are quietly enforcing it without much warning. Here's why this matters. Imagine booking a Mediterranean cruise departing June 15, 2026. Your passport expires December 1st, 2026. That's less than 6 months. Under the new rule, you will be denied boarding, you'll lose your entire cruise fare, and your travel insurance likely won't cover it because it's considered a documentation error on your part. One travel agent from Florida shared a devastating story. A 69-year-old couple booked an Alaskan cruise with a Canadian port stop. Their passports were valid through November 2026, and their cruise was in July. They were turned away at the terminal. Their passports weren't invalid, but they didn't meet the 6-month rule. They lost $8,000 in their dream vacation. This isn't a cruise line policy, it's international law. Many countries, especially in Europe, Asia, and South America, won't admit travelers whose passports expire within 6 months of entry. Since cruises visit multiple countries, this rule now applies to virtually every sailing. Here's your action plan. Check your passport right now. If it expires anytime in 2026 or early 2027, renew it immediately. Passport processing times have stretched to 10 to 12 weeks for routine service, longer during busy seasons. Second, make this your first step before booking any cruise. Don't wait until you've paid deposits. Third, if you have travel partners, check their passports too. One invalid passport can ruin everyone's trip. And here's a critical warning. Some cruise lines advertise closed-loop cruises that leave from and return to the same U.S. port, claiming you only need a birth certificate. Don't risk it. International regulations can change, and having a valid passport eliminates all doubt. Number 6, the shore excursion danger zone. That incredible shore excursion, swimming with dolphins or exploring ancient ruins, looks perfect in the brochure. But former tour coordinators warn that for seniors, especially those with mobility issues or chronic health conditions, some excursions marketed as easy or suitable for all fitness levels can actually be dangerous. Here's the shocking reality. Cruise lines rate excursions on a simple scale, usually 1 to 5, with 1 being easy. But easy is relative. One coordinator admitted that an excursion rated as easy might still involve 20 minutes of walking, uneven terrain, or stairs with no handrails. For a 35-year-old, that's nothing. For a 75-year-old with arthritis or balance issues, it's treacherous. Even more concerning, many excursions in developing countries don't meet Western safety standards. A 68-year-old passenger on a Caribbean cruise booked a zipline tour rated moderate. When she arrived, she found out there was no weight limit posted, no backup safety cables, and the equipment looked worn. She later learned that passenger injuries on that specific tour happened regularly, but the cruise line continued offering it. Here's what experienced senior cruisers know. Read beyond the activity level rating. Look at the detailed description. Words like uneven surfaces, cobblestone streets, or steps required are red flags. If the description mentions any walking distance, double it in your mind. Tour operators always underestimate. Your best strategy, stick to ship-sponsored excursions that specifically state wheelchair accessible or limited mobility friendly. These have been vetted for safety. Second, don't be afraid to ask detailed questions when booking. How much walking? Are there rest stops? Is shade available? What happens if I can't keep up? Third, always bring water, your medications, and emergency contact information on every excursion. And here's the insider secret. The best excursions for seniors are often the cultural ones. Museum tours, scenic drives, and cultural demonstrations usually involve minimal physical exertion and maximum enjoyment. Number 7, the hidden dining time trap. You've booked your cruise, you're excited about the food, and then you realize you've been assigned to the late seating at 8:30 p.m. For many seniors, this creates a frustrating dilemma that cruise lines don't adequately address when booking. Here's what's really happening. Cruise ships operate on 2 traditional dinner seatings, early around 5:30 or 6 p.m. and late around 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Cruise lines claim you can request your preference, but former dining staff reveal that early seating fills up months in advance, and seniors who book later often get stuck with late dining by default. Why does this matter? For older passengers, especially those on medication schedules or with dietary restrictions, eating dinner at 8:30 p.m. can disrupt sleep, cause digestive issues, and leave you feeling miserable. One 70-year-old passenger with diabetes found that eating at 8:30 p.m. threw off her blood sugar management and ruined the first 3 days of her cruise before she could adjust. Even worse, if you're assigned late seating and request a change, you might be told nothing is available, leaving you with an uncomfortable choice. Eat in the buffet every night, pay extra for specialty restaurants, or stick with the inconvenient late seating. Here's how to beat this system. Book your cruise as early as possible and immediately call the cruise line to confirm your early dining request. Don't rely on your travel agent. Call directly. Second, if you're already booked with late seating, call again 30 days before sailing. Cancellations open up and persistence pays off. Third, consider ships with flexible dining options like Royal Caribbean's My Time Dining, where you can eat anytime between 5:30 and 9:30 p.m. without a set seating. And here's a secret from experienced cruisers. On the first day of your cruise, visit the Maitre d' in person. A polite conversation explaining your situation, combined with a small tip, often works wonders that phone calls never could. But wait until you hear about number 8. This is about a new cancellation policy taking effect in 2026 that could cost you everything. Number 8, the new no refund cancellation policy. Starting in 2026, several major cruise lines are implementing stricter cancellation policies that eliminate refunds even for medical emergencies. This change specifically impacts seniors, who statistically face more health issues that can derail travel plans. Here's the new reality. Under traditional policies, if you canceled 90 days before sailing, you might receive a full refund or future cruise credit. If you had a medical emergency 30 days out, you could file an insurance claim. The new 2026 policies, already implemented by Carnival and coming soon to others, make all bookings non-refundable after final payment, typically 90 days before departure. Former customer service representatives admit this policy is designed to reduce financial losses from cancellations, but it pushes all the risk onto passengers. One representative recalled a 73-year-old passenger who was diagnosed with cancer 6 weeks before his cruise. Under the old policy, he would have received cruise credit. Under the new policy, he lost $5,000 entirely. His travel insurance covered some costs, but not the full cruise fare because the policy had coverage limits. Here's what you must do to protect yourself. Buy cancel for any reason insurance. Standard travel insurance only covers specific situations like medical emergencies, but CFAR policies let you cancel for literally any reason and recover 50% to 75% of your costs. Yes, it's more expensive, but for seniors, it's essential. Second, read the cancellation policy before you book. Some ships and sailing dates still offer more flexible terms. Third, understand your insurance coverage limits. A $10,000 cruise requires insurance that covers $10,000, not a basic $5,000 policy. And here's the most important warning. Never assume Medicare or your supplemental insurance will cover cruise cancellations. They won't. Travel insurance is separate and non-negotiable if you're cruising in 2026. Number 9, the balcony cabin illusion. You've saved up for years to splurge on a balcony cabin, ready to wake up to ocean views and gentle sea breezes. Sounds perfect, right? Former cabin stewards and crew members warn that for seniors, especially those with mobility or stability issues, balcony cabins come with hidden dangers that marketing materials conveniently omit. Here's the reality. Balconies are beautiful, but they're not always safe for older passengers. The furniture is often lightweight and unstable. The deck can become slippery when wet from sea spray or rain. And most concerning, the railings, while meeting safety codes, are low enough that a fall or loss of balance could be catastrophic. One former safety officer shared that balcony-related incidents, including falls, slips, and passengers accidentally dropping valuables overboard, happen on virtually every sailing. While cruise lines don't publicize these statistics, internal reports show that passengers over 65 represent a disproportionate number of balcony accidents. There's also the weather factor. If you're cruising to Alaska or Northern Europe in 2026, that balcony will likely be too cold to use most of the time. You've paid $800 extra for a feature you'll barely enjoy. And if you have mobility issues, the step up from the cabin to the balcony, plus the sliding glass door, can be difficult to navigate, especially at night. So, what's the smart choice? If you're steady on your feet and plan to use the balcony regularly, it's worth it. But if you have any concerns about balance, consider a large window cabin instead. You'll get the ocean view without the risks or the premium price. And here's a pro tip. Midship cabins have less motion than forward or aft cabins, making them safer and more comfortable for seniors. Number 10, the medical waiver trap. When booking shore excursions or spa services, you'll be asked to sign medical waivers. Most passengers barely read them. Big mistake. These waivers, especially new versions rolled out in 2026, contain language that could leave you without legal recourse if something goes wrong. Here's what former legal staff revealed. The updated waivers now include clauses that waive your right to sue not just for accidents, but for negligence. That means if a tour operator fails to maintain safe equipment or a spa technician injures you, you may have signed away your ability to recover damages. One 66-year-old woman suffered a serious back injury during a ship-sponsored massage after the technician used excessive force. The waiver she signed prevented her from suing the cruise line or the spa contractor. This is where it gets really concerning for seniors. Many of the activities that require waivers, excursions, spa treatments, even some fitness classes, carry higher risks for older passengers with pre-existing conditions. But the waiver doesn't differentiate. You're accepting the same level of risk as a 25-year-old athlete. Here's your protection strategy. Read every waiver thoroughly before signing. If you see language about waiving negligence claims or accepting all risks, ask questions. You have the right to decline the activity. Second, take photos of the waiver on your phone before signing. If something happens, you'll have proof of what you agreed to. Third, make sure your travel insurance includes coverage for activity-related injuries, because these waivers may prevent you from recovering costs any other way. And here's a critical insider tip. Some waivers have an emergency contact line you can fill in. Always include your doctor's information and your medical conditions. If something happens, responders will have critical health information immediately. Number 11, the loyalty program myth. You've been cruising for decades, you've reached elite status with your favorite cruise line, and you expect royal treatment. But former loyalty program managers reveal that in 2026, the value of these programs is quietly shrinking, while cruise lines market them more aggressively than ever. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Cruise lines are diluting their loyalty benefits. Perks that used to kick in at lower tiers now require higher status. Free drinks, priority boarding, and cabin upgrades are increasingly rare even for top-tier members. One former Royal Caribbean loyalty manager admitted that the percentage of elite members receiving complimentary upgrades dropped from 18% to less than 5% between 2023 and 2025. Why does this matter for seniors? Because older cruisers are the backbone of these loyalty programs. You've sailed 15, 20, 30 times, earning every tier, and you've planned your retirement around cruising with your favorite line. But the benefits you expected are vanishing. Even worse, cruise lines are now offering better deals to new customers than to loyal repeat guests. That $800 per person cruise? A first-time cruiser might get onboard credit and free excursions, while you, a Diamond member with 20 cruises, get a commemorative keychain and priority check-in. Here's how to navigate this new reality. Don't let loyalty blind you to better deals elsewhere. Compare prices across cruise lines, even if you've sailed exclusively with one company for years. Second, leverage your status when it matters. Call and negotiate. Mention you're considering another line. Loyalty departments have discretionary perks they can offer to retain valuable customers. Third, watch for loyalty member exclusive sales. These sometimes offer genuine value. And here's the ultimate insider secret. The best loyalty perk isn't free drinks or cabin upgrades. It's relationships with crew members who remember you. Build genuine connections, and you'll receive better service than any program tier could ever provide. So there you have it. 11 critical warnings every senior needs to know before cruising in 2026. From insurance traps to hidden dangers, these aren't just minor inconveniences. They're legitimate concerns that could cost you money, ruin your vacation, or even put your health at risk. But now you know, and knowing means you can protect yourself, plan smarter, and enjoy the incredible cruise vacation you've earned. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe so you can cruise smart with every sailing. Drop a comment below with your biggest cruise concern or your best senior cruising tip. Until next time, cruise smart, and may your seas be smooth and your adventures unforgettable.